Yeah, this is the distance
He
I'm
just went where the
comfortable with.
mics went.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, he wanted his own thing.
That's better.
Just being,
Yeah, he's comfortable.
being
He's
Harry, Mr. Harry Belden.
Well, friends, hope you had a fun weekend with us.
So fun. Yeah, everyone here has been really wonderful.
Yeah, it's been great to meet fans. Thanks so much for having us here.
No, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. So, real quick, I'll throw this out. I've heard the story before. Love them to hear it. Love to hear how these roles came about for you. And if we're going chronologically, then ladies first.
Oh, yes. I've been on the show since the beginning. I got the show in 2011, I want to say. Yeah, 2010, actually. So I've been on the show for a number of years. That's when we did the pilot, and it wasn't a couple of years until you guys actually got to
Doesn't
see the show.
feel like it's been that long.
Well, there's been a lot of in-between time between
Yeah.
seasons. So we're at season 8 will be airing sometime in this year. So yeah, but I've been there from the beginning, and I auditioned for it just like everyone does when they're trying to get a show. Unless you've been on shows enough that you start to get offers, but very rarely you're usually auditioning. Most likely you're auditioning for things and rarely getting offers.
Yeah, so I started as a fan of the show. I've been watching since season 1, and like I do with anything that I like and watch in media, I imitate it as a form of just admiration. So I had a Rick impression sort of in my back pocket as a party trick for friends, and then when the role came up, I'd already been working as an actor for a number of years, already in voiceover for a number of years, hadn't quite broken into animation, and so I said, hey, you know what? I'll throw my hat in the ring. I think I got a decent enough voice. It was a 6-month audition process for me, and then finally got the call. Yeah, season 7's out, season 8 coming soon. That's the very truncated timeline. Harry Belden.
That is perfect because I had the exact same experience as Ian. Quite literally, yeah. 6 months long, and just saw the auditions were going out. I was like, okay, I do Morty for fun. Like, let's do that. And then, 6 months and however many callbacks later, boom, they liked what they heard, and here we are.
And, of course, she was able to develop the role and get her own. Both you guys had the challenges of matching and getting that timbre and everything else. And, again, everybody thinks, oh, yeah, Morty, whatever. Rick. It's like, everybody could do it at a party or something like that, too. But, again, when you get in that booth, the professional, there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of those light touches and everything else. And, again, a credit to both of you for being able to find those moments.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, and the other thing is the ability to sustain so that we can do multiple seasons, multiple session records, multiple episodes, and then continue the show, hopefully indefinitely. So, there was a moment, at least for me, during the audition process when I realized, okay, what passed for, a fun party trick and got a laugh by doing a line wasn't going to pass for the audition round. And even though that version got me in the room and got them listening, that's not going to pass for what is required of the show. So there was sort of like a leveling up that I think we needed to do in terms of how to do the voice, not just replicate it, but be able to sustain it. And after the first 2 episodes of season 7 that we did, it was no longer a match, one-for-one match of what was in place. We sort of, we've taken it in our own directions. Yes, the cadence is there, but we're being directed and coming up with our own choices now. So
Yeah.
Well, you're picking up and evolving the characters. And that's what it is. It's usually, okay, we're just going in this direction, but it's natural.
Right, and if you watch any show, especially animated shows, the character voices change all the time. Watch season 1 of a show, Simpsons, for example, and yeah, exactly, and you just see how they change and they grow and they evolve.
Let's go out for frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
the first season
Perfect
the
example.
first season of that show is so different to where it ends up being. eventually.
Why, you little... Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and our job is just to be true to the characters, true to the story, and keep seasons coming out for you guys to keep watching for 100 years.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly hope so. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and jump on in and take some audience questions. We've got you guys for 16 minutes and 32 seconds. So let's see what we can get on in. And then when we're done with that, then you and I, we can go backwards a little bit, talk about your gig coming up and stuff. And for whatever it's worth, I was a fan of Ironside.
Oh, thank you.
All right. No, let's do a line. We'll do a line. So that way we can get you on the
Step right
camera.
up.
So yeah, you have to, I'm sorry, you have to stand up and you got to get in line. Yes. I'll tell you what, you can go over. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Emma.
What you got, Emma?
This is for everybody. How does it feel to work together? Like since Spencer, you're with the new Rick and the new Morty, how does it feel to like work with them?
I think I've said this before, but we actually never really work together. This is probably the only time we're together. When we record the episodes, we go into a booth individually and we just get directed. So I just imagine people saying the words in my mind. And then I respond as Summer. So it's been lovely to have them because they're wonderful guys and have wonderful partners. And we have been doing conventions, so we travel basically the entire world together. And that's been a truly lovely experience. Yeah. You're welcome.
And I'll just say the cast, including Spencer, have been really supportive since Harry and I have taken on the roles. So just we've been fans of them for years, and so to work alongside them is an honor.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always fun when they get to do it troop style and you get everybody in the room, but that's few and far between. But it's a treat when it does happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, hey, what's your name? What you got?
Yeah, Paul, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman.
Hey.
So, your relationship with the writers. Are there any particular episodes for each of you where you were particularly inquisitive with the writers about the situations, the story of that episode, like getting more feedback so to help with your performance in particular? Like, did you sort of understand what the writers had in mind when they were writing that particular episode?
Something kind of baffling on the script that you needed a little more. Tell me more about this so I can visualize it. Something like that?
There have been times in previous earlier seasons where I didn't get the episode until I got there because they were rewriting it. And I had no opportunity to read it. So I would have to ask like what was happening since I hadn't read any of the script yet. But most of the time, it makes sense to me. I think, especially playing a character for a long time, I'm pretty prepared at how she interacts and experiences the world. My only questions will sometimes be like, Summer's swearing a lot in an episode. I feel like, did you guys not notice that every other word she says is fuck in this episode? Maybe we could tone it down. Or like, those are usually the only things, but most of the time it makes sense to me. We're working out like, where the comedy plays harder, like is it funnier if we emphasize this at the end of the sentence and stuff like that. It's not necessarily confusing for me anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I feel like very rarely I'll be like, wait, I don't get this one part. Like what? So and to inform what, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, it's just like, and then they explain it. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I think that's just me being dumb. And then, but also like Spencer says, they do so many rewrites of the episodes that that we come in, we record, we come in the next week. There's a bunch of stuff that's different. Some of the however many of the lines we did are gone, replaced with new lines, and everything's tightened. So the process just changes so much that you just kind of you roll with it.
I think there were definitely some questions that I had when we did a really canon heavy episode on Mort Rickon in season 7, because that was one that went through extensive rewrites, and it was one that we really wanted to get right. And so questions in terms of what's going through Rick Prime's head at this moment besides Rick's fist, and there were questions that we would ask I would ask in the room just to try to get inside the character a little more, but. It's a luxury, I think, in voice acting work to be able to and the nature of our roles in particular, to have that access to the writers and directors in those moments. Most times you show up on set, you're expected to just go on, you do your thing, and there's really no discussion about the craft unless you're lucky enough to have rehearsals in an on-camera setting. So it's a luxury of what we're able to do.
Cool. Great question. Thank you. Hey, what's your name? What you got?
Nastya. Okay. Sorry. Question for everyone. You said you were fans of the show before, like since the beginning. Is the changing in writing noticeable since the original creator is gone? Is it like less edgy or something? I don't know.
Actually, there's a lot of things people don't really know about what goes on a TV show. So the writing team, when you write a show, there are different writers who take episodes, and typically they all write collectively to break the story, and then one writer will take that episode and write it. But in general, the writing has been pretty consistent since about season 2 with the same writers.
That's pretty much about right.
Can't speak before season 7,
right?
Yeah, so I think it's fair to say that we all agree that the series feels the same. You know, it really does. So.
Season
yeah.
7's
No, yeah.
pretty edgy if you've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been no sort of
I mean,
thing
the
to it.
biggest thing that happened was Mike Mandel passed away suddenly, and that was our line producer, and that sort of changed the dynamics of the work, only because it was very shocking and difficult. The line producer is the person in charge of like kind of everything, and then also the how much it costs to make and where everybody gets paid, and just kind of schedules everything. So it became really difficult just as we were grieving the loss of him. Yeah.
Hey, what's your name? What you got?
Okay. Hi, my name is Tad, aka Tendo Tadio. And my question is, what is your favorite scene from Rick and Morty?
Favorite scene of all time?
Oh, you know what I loved is it's largely not a lot of dialogue, but in the beginning of Unmort Rickon, when we get to finally see Evil Morty's backstory, and I remember watching that for the first time, the first cut, and I was just like, oh my God, this is it. We're about to find out how it happened and how it all went down. So there's not a lot of talking in it, but it's one of my faves.
It's hard to pick a favorite, but today I'm going to say Snake Jazz. Just because it's so goofy and funny to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that some of the things that stand out the most to me are the wordless parts of the episodes, like where we're in the snake world, when we follow Morty as he, does a do-over on his life but gets trapped in, wherever he is, and it's the Alive episode, I call it. I think that that's a phenomenal way of storytelling when it's completely visual, and yet we feel so much. And I think that, those are some of my favorites today, I'll say.
Yeah, the montages in Spaghetti Episode and on Mort Rickon are, that's what hits you in the feels. And, credit to the music as well that's in the show.
Yeah, I was
that's
going to say
incorporated.
Ryan Elder really does a lot in there that's
Yeah.
pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, he kills it.
That's cool. Great one. Thank you. Yeah. Hi, what's your name?
Anna, and okay, I wanted to ask, are we gonna get any more like Rick Prime content, or is he like gone? Like, are we gonna see him in the past or anything, what he was doing?
Well, they can't really talk about stuff coming up or they'll get in trouble, so.
Couldn't spoil it even if I did know, but I can honestly say I don't know. What I will say is, we've got a show where there's an infinite number of multiverses where we can travel and things like that.
Yeah.
They've, bent the rules and done all kinds of things in the past. But there's some great adventures coming up in season 8, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yes. You want more Rick Prime, and I want more Mr. Nimbus. Hopefully, we get both our wishes. Hey, what's your name? What you got?
Hello, I'm Con, and hopefully let's see no more Mr. Frumbles in the future.
Oh, yeah, he dangerous.
That'd be scary.
Takes over the whole world.
So, what is it you guys think about Rick and Morty that makes it so special to everyone, and why it's stuck around all these years?
I think a big part of it is family dynamics. I think a lot of people can see the dysfunctionality in the Smith family and maybe relate it to their own. I know I do. I think there's also that element of growth. I think it happens at just enough of a pace to keep you invested in these characters and kind of reward you in seeing their growth. And then like you throw a healthy dose of wacky sci-fi in there. I think a lot of people can relate to it.
I think it's the burps.
Yeah, it's definitely
My mom
the burps.
would be so proud.
Yeah, so proud. I agree with Harry on that one. I think it's about it's specific but universal, and that transcends like those things because it's centered around a family.
All right, great one on that one, Colin. Come on. Hey, what's your name?
Tristan.
What you got?
It's for all of you. What are your guys' favorite lines to say?
There's a moment in Spaghetti Episode that I laugh at every time I think about it, and from the first time I read it, where I'm feeding Morty the spaghetti, and I say choo-choo plane, like choo-choo plane, which is funny because it mixes metaphors, and that just tickles me.
I really like somebody quoted to me today. There was another Evil Morty where he just says, I don't need a Robin. And I just love that because it's like a great line, obviously. And then I'm a big Batman fan, so to say that line, I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
recently I've been thinking about where Summer becomes Bigfoot, because I got to do that line and I was like, feet so small, right? I did that a bunch of times, and I think it's fun for me to play other weird, I don't know, cryptozoological characters.
I love that one. And
So
also,
good.
Morty, one good Western bacon. Morty, Western bacon now.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
drunk on the couch.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
I will always love two. Show me what you got.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
And is that Mr. Nimbus? Just now, I was informed here that Tristan is celebrating a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So how old are you?
I'm turning 10 next month.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Someday
Just
you'll be old
10?
enough to watch our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so brave to come up here and ask a question. I don't know if I would have had the courage to do that.
Agreed,
So
yes.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tristan. There you go. One for you. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Come on up. Hey, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Mario. Yeah, I want to ask something. Working about in a show that has like the same characters but in different dimensions. There are some moments that it's amazing how, for example, you can see the different personalities of each character in each dimension. For an example, one of those moments I think is when Morty gets his toxicity out, and he passed from sounding like a guy that has zero confidence in himself to a really chill guy that overloads in confidence and self-esteem. So how do you manage to do that? And also,
Well, yeah, it was different, but the whole thing is like when the characters are pushed out of their normal boundaries into new areas.
I mean, that's acting,
Playing
right?
evil, they play evil Morty. I mean, you played Rick Prime and
Yeah,
regular
I-
Rick,
Yeah.
and then you played evil
Yeah,
Morty
I
and
mean,
regular Morty.
actors theoretically can jump into any number of roles, and so these are just any number of versions of these roles. So we're always bringing versions of ourselves to anything that we might do, any material that we pick up. So we're just tapping into maybe something that's a little stronger in one iteration of Rick. Maybe there's a slight vocal change, potentially.
Yeah.
Or if there is a vocal change between those types of characters, then it might just arise organically. But it's really just sort of true to character psychology in that moment, and what they want. So it goes back to motivation and what drives us all,
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much. There you go. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hey, what's your name? What you got?
My name is Ethan Rivero. I am 29 years old.
Well, good to see you, Ethan. So, do you have a question?
Yes, just curious. As we continue seeing more movies centered around the multiverse, do you guys feel that Rick and Morty is the show that paved the way for the multiverse craze that we're currently living in now in pop culture? Or do you think you guys were just building off other franchises in regards to multiverse?
I think some of the writers who actually wrote those Avengers movies were writers on Rick and Morty originally. But I think it became more tangible in a certain way. But Back to the Future had already existed, and there are a few other movies that transcend time and time travel and things like that. But I do think it became sort of a global phenomenon, and then it already existed in those comics anyway, but became more at the forefront. Yeah. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once is definitely a good example of, I think, the Rick and Morty influence in a way.
I honestly think that Rick and Morty showed just how much utility you can get out of the multiversal concept within a franchise.
Yeah, I mean, all art is derivative, I'd say, but what our show does really well as well is with all of the different versions of multiverse, pop culture, sci-fi coming up, it's kind of stayed true to its own form and sort of the things that make it unique. So it might be influenced in some ways, but I think it's still staying true to what it set out to do originally, even though there's all these other versions of that type of storytelling popping up. So, yeah, thank you for your question.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
Okay, we're just about to lose you guys. So what we're gonna do is this. Usually we do this at the end, but let's go ahead and take our stage selfie so we get all of you guys all together.
Right.
So what we're gonna
do
do
it.
is all right,
They have
and
to
then
leave
and then
because
we're
of
gonna
the fight.
continue with her for a little bit. So we'll kind of do like a mini one with her. So
Yeah, I forgot my portal gun. We have to fly, so that's why.
Do we catch down? Yeah.
Count of three, everybody say animate. 1, 2, 3. All right, yeah, we'll do one more. Hey, ready? 1, 2, 3, animate! All right, give it up for Harry and Ian. They gotta take on off. Thanks for guys for checking. Thanks for guys checking in with us.
Thank you all so much for coming.
Thanks for doing this, everybody else. Safe journey back home. Until next time. Mm-hmm. Thank you, brother. All right, I'm going to continue a little conversation with Spencer, and we'll take some questions if anybody's got anything for her. So, all right. So, hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hey,
yeah.
thank you. Welcome to Miami. So glad to have you here.
worries, yeah.
How'd you get involved with Rick and Morty?
Oh, yeah. Well, as I said, I auditioned. 15 years ago.
Let's do this for a little bit. What got you into acting? And I know we all know it kind of runs in the family, but what was it that made you decide to follow step?
I had my parents met on Broadway in New York before my dad was, Frasier. And my mom was a dancer on Broadway. She actually was the breadwinner of the family. So I kind of grew up just in being backstage with them. And he got the show when I was about a year old. He was a recast for the role of Frasier. So I kind of grew up in that world. I performed a lot. I was a dancer mostly. And then being a dancer isn't a very lucrative profession. So I thought, well, I could probably do acting for a while, but if I can't make a living at it, I won't keep doing it. But I did study it in high school. I did a few commercials in high school, some guest star spots on TV shows, and then I went to New York and did it in college as well, and then really focused on it. I worked multiple jobs, and then when I started making more money as an actor, I was able to quit those jobs, and then eventually, got a soap opera called As the World Turns, and then I ended up booking Greek, which brought me back to Los Angeles. Yeah.
Greek's very fun. I mentioned this, and I don't mean this jokingly either. I mean, I was rooting for that redo of Ironside.
Oh, for Ironside, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, were there more? They broadcast 3. Did they film more? And
we did I think 8 episodes, and then we got canceled. It's just a tough ratings game when you're doing network television. We had just our numbers decreased over time, and they had Chicago PD, which ended up becoming like their big, cop show at the time, and it was fun to work on. I mean, I did a number of television shows at that time, and I went to Multicam after that. I did the Craig Robinson show, and then I did another pilot for ABC that didn't go as well. But it's a crazy, industry where, I audition a lot. I've auditioned for a lot of roles, and I've watched it change. And I just at some point was like, I need to be more in control of the things that I do. And I had been like, oh, I can't get a job because I was pregnant at the time. So I asked to get into voiceover work, and I ended up getting Rick and Morty, which was such a blessing. And I had another TV show ask me to actually leave Rick and Morty. They didn't want me to be a part of it if they wanted me to be on that show, and I told them I wouldn't do that. This job was pre-existing, and I love this show. It's the one thing I really enjoy doing. I'm not going to leave that to do this, other network show that's the same as every other network show.
Because
that got canceled after 6 episodes.
Well, not only that. I mean, animation has a greater flexibility. I mean, plenty of people are booking face work and animation work, and I think
the show became really, really big, and it became bigger, and they knew that was going to be the case, and I'm fine with that. I don't mind being not a big star on some other TV show. It doesn't bother me. I enjoy that I have the anonymity because I do a lot of other things creatively. I went to graduate school for filmmaking and directing and all that stuff. So, and I do music now. Let's
talk about a little bit. Tell us about the music end.
Yeah, it's sort of a new endeavor for me. I am playing a show tonight in Wynwood at Savage Labs. If anybody wants to come, it's a free show. But it's sort of to try it out because because doing these, I talk a lot and it's hard to sing and do voiceover work and do a bunch of talking to people all day. So I'm going to see how I do. It's my first time doing that. But I got into playing music because I got stabbed 5 years ago and I lost feeling in my right hand, and so as a form of rehab to kind of help keep my hand mobile, I started playing guitar, which also helps with your brain neuroplasticity as well. Playing an instrument or learning any kind of new skill like a new language is also helpful for that. So I started playing music maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, and then I started writing songs in July of last year, and so I'm working on recording an album in the next couple of months. Yeah.
What genre would you describe it as?
I call it like gothic Western Americana, basically, because I'm really influenced by 70s rock and roll, and but I sometimes don't like some of the lyrics that I have to listen to in contemporary music, and I want a different point of view. I'm a bit of a feminist, kind of like Summer is, which can be hit or miss in certain states, but I just think I wanted to tell stories through music as opposed to just through acting. It's actually easier for me to write a song than it is for me to write a whole movie and get it made, which I've also done, but that's just takes so many other people. So to be able to write a song, perform it live immediately in front of people is incredibly rewarding for me, and then also to see people really enjoy that, it's truly wonderful. Anyway, and my band is called Bell and Chain. If you want to check it out, yeah.
Me too. So we can find it on there's online sources for it.
Yeah, I just started the Instagram for it maybe a couple weeks ago, and I have one song up, but I'm not the lead singer of that song. I co-wrote it with somebody, so it was the first song I recorded called "Don't You Worry, Babe." But I will perform that tonight. But it's on Spotify, yeah. And then I'm going to be recording more songs coming up. Yeah.
We're absolutely looking forward to that. And
it's like a very a zygote of it's like just the beginning of something. Yeah.
No, but you're having fun, right?
Yes.
And again, you're getting that, and you're right. It's like you swing for the fences with a screenplay or something. And
it's so hard.
If it does get picked up in any way, it's got to go through the machine, and there's a purity to music.
And there's something incredible. I call it an alchemy of creation. I mean, we have the same too. When you get actors together to perform something, and you have the writers and the right directors, and you get the right animators to make a show, like we do with Rick and Morty. There's an alchemy that exists that's magical for other people. But to perform live is something entirely different, because you have this direct communication with the audience, and you can feed off of them, but also give so much of yourself in a way that is incredibly cathartic, I think, for both people involved. To be a performer is truly a unique gift. It is kind of scary at times. But for me, there's something that I tap into that's bigger than myself. And sometimes in real life, I struggle to find that, because I'm just live in performance mode and have for many years of my life. That's the skill set I was trained in. So I'm grateful to be able to do it on stage. And it's terrifying, but also incredibly rewarding.
No, absolutely. Well, hopefully we do another this or GalaxyCon show. Maybe we can give you an opportunity to. But only if you're cool with it.
Maybe I'll come and play a song. Yeah, I do also It's fun to. I take an old song and we'll make it in the genre that I like to write in. So I'm gonna do a cover that's gonna be really interesting. We'll see if it goes well. Yeah.
Very excited on that. And since Steven is right there holding the camera, I feel remiss if we didn't talk about the project that he did with you. Yeah, Isla Monstra.
Yeah. No, we worked on that. I think it's so cool to do independent work as well. I also Isla Monstra is an interesting animation about this group of ex-U.S. government employees who go through these genetic changes and then get trapped on a desert island and then try to kind of turn it into. Then a castaway shows up and then they try to turn it into a destination holiday place, and it's really fun. And I think the point is to eventually make it a TV show as well. It's a little raunchy too, so that's exciting.
So, Steven, you're still shopping it around, right?
Still shopping it around.
No, but it's gonna land.
Yeah, I think so.
It has to, you're in it. It has to land.
Yeah. You never know, like I said. And then I also did this other independent TV show called Books that I just shot at the end of December. That's an indie television pilot, and that seems to be getting some kind of traction as well. It's really fun. I play the owner of a bookstore who is trying to get people to buy books and read them again. So they start doing these really weird, interesting. Writers come in, and it's a workplace comedy as well. Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun and cute and sweet, and I think we need kind of more television that brings a little lightheartedness and a little bit of hope and connection to the world a bit more. Maybe gets us reading more. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm still looking forward to that. Anybody got any questions or just her? I'll go ahead and take hands. I'll come around. All right. We'll come out here. Hey, what's your name?
Mercedes.
What you got?
Hi, Mercedes.
If Summer was an actual musical artist, what do you think her journey would be?
You know, it's pretty funny. I did one like rap, like a Christmas rap as Summer, like a couple of years ago. That's still on there. It's so funny. It was like just this promo that we did. She would probably want to be somebody like Sabrina Carpenter, but would probably land somewhere like, I don't know, like a Beastie Boy or something. You know, she'd end up in like a group or like in some girl group, but not like the main person, and be like really sad. It would be like Destiny's Child, but she's not the main, you know. That would probably be Summer's road. Yeah, I think so. And then she'd be like really angry about it and probably like try to take the lead singer out so she could be better, you know. That would be my storyline for her. Oh, he brings you a gift.
All right, what you got this time?
So, watching the whole series, what do you think was the moment where Summer went from that backgroundish side character to really coming into her own prominence alongside Rick and Morty?
Yeah, you know, actually, it's funny that people feel that way because, you know, because it happens in season 1, I think, when she does the Needful Things episode, which, you know, where she's working for the devil. I think she really does become her own character there and like fights against, you know, Grandpa Rick, obviously. But the episodes are so dense, like the way that the story circle works that Harmon does, there's like, even the B storylines feel like so eventful, like that it feels like so much traverses in season 1 and season 2. And I think that was sort of by design because when you're beginning a show, you don't know how many episodes you're gonna get. So you try to make all of them as impactful as they can be. And you're trying to keep the show on TV, right? Like because you could get canceled every season you're finished. And in fact, even as the contracts go, you can get canceled as a character too. You can get fired as a character. There's no guarantee. The show can get ordered, but you still have to get picked up as an individual character on the show. So you're trying your best to make sure that what you do is so valuable that you don't get fired, basically. So those first few seasons were so in depth. Like I always think of the episode with, you know, where she's in this ship, Rick's ship, which is, you know, the Teenyverse and the Tinyverse also. But those two storylines are so heavy. Like she creates Spider-Piece and you have Rick's ship like just taking out people like in a war zone, and they're off like, you know, doing slavery with extra steps over and over again. And the episode's only like 22 minutes long. And I think that's insane. Like I have a hard time remembering all of the things that happen in some episodes and can't believe that they're all in the same one sometimes.
Cool. Great question. Who's right over here? Hey, what's your name?
I'm Alex.
What you got?
So I was curious what your experience was like doing the snowball episode, because that's definitely one of my favorites.
Is it? Yeah. No. And that's also in the first season as well. You know, that first season felt so. It was so exciting for me. I learned so much about what voice acting was, what was required of you, how you stand near a mic and things like that, because it was a very new endeavor for me. And I truly felt so excited to just be able to act in spaces that would never be possible in an on-camera situation and like a real life situation. I wouldn't have an actual dog talking to me in a spacesuit, you know? And it very rarely would show up on a TV show I'd be auditioning for. So just that inherent imagination and creative work that I got to do was so riveting. And it's fun to like scream and be in discomfort. I get to show so many colors of a character that truly makes it really rewarding for me.
Cool. Great one. Thank you. And I think we have time for one or two more. So, back this way. And then, Hey, what you got?
Hey, I want to ask if there is any episode that was really hard to voice, like it was really difficult maybe, you know, to get in character or to not try to laugh because the script was, you know, too much?
You know, the one that was probably the hardest to voice was the Night Family episode, just because we had two different characters and I led that storyline a lot. So to jump between like doing like Summer down here like this was like well, it's actually kind of easy for me now. It's harder to do the summer voice when I travel a lot. My voice gets tired and dry. But yeah, I mean, that's probably hard when you're switching between two characters. But most of the time, it's pretty easy unless I'm screaming a lot and have a lot of fight scenes. And we do those at the end of the when we're recording. We do it at the end of the record. So we start off with all of like the regular lines, and then if I have screaming or dying or fighting scenes, we do that at the end. Yeah, so that I don't ruin my voice, and then I rest for like a couple days. Yeah.
All right, I've got time for one more. If somebody wants to kick on in, or what's the dream gig? What's the next evolution? If you write your own ticket, where do you want to go?
Dream? Oh my God, that's so hard to. I don't know. I just think I'm really blessed in this career. I mean, I guess I had wanted to get to different heights in acting in general, but you know, it was a different time 15 years ago, and you know, some things I wasn't willing to do to become a movie star. So you pick and choose the life that you want in this industry. I hope that isn't the same experience for many other women moving forward, but it was an interesting time for me. So I'm really grateful that I have Rick and Morty. I think it's incredibly rewarding. I get paid well for it. People love the show. I don't love that there was a lot of drama around that. I hope that there's a world where we don't have to worry about the creator or the lead characters of a show having issues like that come up. Like I'm sick of people being in charge where I have to then there has to be like a town hall about their indecent behavior that jeopardizes over 250 people's jobs and livelihoods. I don't want to see people like that being in charge of jobs anymore. Like, there are more people at stake who do this job than just the people who are acting in that. The people who animate it, the people who produce the show, the networks that put it on the television, the products that come out because of it, and the fans who enjoy it. To have one person's behavior become something that can tarnish a show that means so much to the people on it is incredibly frustrating. I will always be grateful to Justin for creating a show with Dan Harmon that was wonderful, but I will never be okay with that kind of behavior in the world. And I just hope that we have more people in the future, like that I can be on a show where I don't have to worry about that stuff going on. And that's really truly like what I would love to see, not just for me, but for like everyone in entertainment in general. And
I think that's very fair to speak towards the situation and that way too. Oh, I've been asking this question all weekend. I forgot to do the final one. What about Ben and Jerry's? If you
think they should have a spider piece?
What if they did
like
a flavor based on summer? What would
based on summer? Oh,
yeah. So what would what would the Ben and Jerry's and Summer Smith inspired ice cream be like?
Well, I thought you were gonna ask because in the episode where they're like Keep Summer Safe episode, I call it. It becomes like they put like flies in the ice cream and they ruin like the best ice cream in the universe. But I feel like they were
little chocolate flies.
You'd have to put you could do like a cricket ice cream. You could put little pieces because you can actually eat crickets. They're a really good source of, and other insects, actually a really sustainable source of protein. Though they're not as delicious. I've tried them. You know, you could put like termites are also very nutritious. And anyway, I've tried all these things, but it would be really incredible to have there's ants in this ice cream, but it's still a delicious flavor, That would probably be portal green or black with little specks of green in it, like the universe or something. Yeah.
Absolutely see that. Thank you so much for sticking around with us. Everything else too. Break a leg tonight at your performance.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It'll be at Savage Labs in Wynwood. I go on around 10:30. So. Yeah, there'll be other performances as well. It's not just me.
And tomorrow's a holiday, so chances are that you got tomorrow off. So go in and check it on out. It's okay. This was Switzer Grammar, and that was our time. She'll actually be back at our table in a little bit.
I will be at the table for a little bit longer. They had to leave, but I'm here. I'm not leaving until tomorrow. So
absolutely.
Yeah, come say hi if you want, and also thank you for staying and for listening and for being fans. Yeah, I truly appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Animate Miami.